reading. We'll do the pledge. So we already did it this morning. Item number 8, dispatch payment. Are you ready now?
I know. Captain Trimmer, Umatilla County Sheriff's Office. Before you is a request for QA, and it says SOP outsourcing, but actually that is going to be for virtual online training. They have given us a discount again this year due to their mishap last year because they didn't get it to us soon enough. Basically, what they're doing is quality assuring all of our calls. They're randomly pulling, I think, total 702 a year, different dispatchers. So there's no, I guess, process in place where they think it's being picked at, kind of thing. And then the other piece of it is going to be the virtual online training, which will run for a year. That is resulting in some really good quality training for especially our new ones. And also it prints out a report that we're able to go over with them. Sergeant Laura Sella has been active in getting those back under quality control. And they sign them each month so that there's no, again, no appearance of favoritism or anything. And they actually know what they're doing good and what they're not doing so well on and how we can help them. So the payable for the total is $11,914.93. And it's through Motivations. I'll answer any questions you might have. Well, so what happened is they never got us the invoice until like September. And so they credited us then, and then this time they got it in a timely manner, but they decided since they messed it up, and because we had some people drop off and then added a couple, they've given us another discount, slight discount.
How does it actually, I mean, it does the QA part of it too.
It does, absolutely.
But does it actually give you type of calls and all of that too?
Yep, everything's printed out. If there's a problem call, so they have access to not only our 911 and our admin, well, just the 911s, I guess, and also our CAD system. So they go in and we created the criteria that we're looking for, you know, the W's, who, what, when, where, how. And then if they're asking about weapons, that kind of thing, and verifying address and phone number. And then they verify that not only with the audio, but go through the CAD as well.
One of these days, I gotta stop by now that you have a full year. I gotta stop by
Anytime.
and have a look, yeah.
Anytime.
I know you said that last year.
I know. And you still haven't got there.
Well, I've gotten there, just haven't looked at it.
I'm trying to get the dinner break in too.
Okay, George. Thanks. I move for approval of the $11,914.93 for the dispatch quality control software program.
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Carries.
Thank you.
You're still up.
I am. Still haven't changed my address. This one is for our consulting services that we recently had with the Chris Fisher firm again. This was to show not only trying to come to a compromise between the agencies for some sort of formula synopsis, but also how much progress we've made since they did the initial efficiency study back in 2022. It was slightly higher than the 5,000 that was originally agreed on, so that's why I'm before you for the amount of $6,500.
Wait, hold on. The amount's gonna be how much?
$6,500.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you said 500.
I move for approval of $6,500 for the Fisher firm.
The motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
See, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I'm not gonna live that one down, am I?
Actually, I think it was 3, and if I do it in 2, that's.
Yeah.
Hold it to the 2.
All right, so I don't get the option to say this very in the public meeting, but good afternoon, Commissioners. Josh Roberts, Umatilla County Sheriff's Office. Before you is a request to purchase 2 Tough-Book 40 ruggedized laptops. If you recall, I came before you last year. We purchased one for our Marine and ATV program because of the type of work that they do out on the water and up in the mountains and in the hot and cold and the dust and whatnot. We needed something that could hold up to the inhospitable nature of the Marine and ATV, and so we purchased one of these computers. Since then, we have expanded our program. We have 2 more deputies certified in these areas. Deputy McMasters, who is kind of the supplement to that program, and hopefully a lot more going forward. And then Deputy Trevor Lindbergh just went through the Marine Academy and is certified for this as well, and he's going to kind of be our backup. As Rowan Hayes takes on a more administrative and leadership role with search and rescue is our anticipation. More that's going to fall to Deputy McMasters and Deputy Lindbergh. And so we already have the infrastructure in the patrol boats that interface with the rugged laptop, the tough book before you. These were identified by IT as being last year as being the correct product, and so we just watch, rinse, repeat. We want to keep what we have because it already integrates, and it is within our budget. We do have money within the Marine line item expenses, so we request that we be allowed to purchase 2 Toughbook 40 ruggedized laptop computers from Price Computers for a total of $10,200.
Real quick, Josh, thank you, good presentation. Are you talking about this year's budget or next year's budget?
This year's budget.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I do have a question, only because I don't know. So you have 3 of these computers now, and so you would have 3 boats out on the water at the same time?
Well, currently we only have 1 computer. This will up it to 3 because they will use these in their patrol rigs and then take them out of their patrol rig, put it in the boat, take it out, put it eventually I want them in the UTVs for they're putting them in the UTV, but there's no mount there yet, but we're working toward that direction. But they use them in all 3 settings: on patrol, out on the water, and up in the mountains.
Any other questions?
Move for approval of $10,200 out of the 2024 budget for 2 tough books for the Sheriff's Department.
Second, all fair the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
3 minutes, by the way, Josh.
Oh, man.
Sheriff's Office laptop. Good. What is it? Payable. So this is approval is sought for training management software. Is that,
If that's us or if that's going to be Robert.
what are we on?
It's basically to the board from finance because of the dollar amount.
I move to approve payable in 2 Power DMS Inc. in the amount of $6,200.
Wait a second, but I have a question.
What's your question for?
Who is Power DMS other than they supply manuals?
You said who's Power DMS again?
That they supply manuals.
So Power DMS has a host of software products. Currently, we subscribe to 3 of those products: Power DMS, Power Time, which is used to be Planet, it's our scheduling software, and then Power Ready, which is our field training software. And how this came about was we got an approval to purchase Power Ready, which was under the 5,000 threshold, and then Power DMS, the accreditation stuff, came up not long after. And on their end, not on ours, they slapped them into one invoice, which is why you're seeing it over $5,000 here. But the Power Ready is the field training, the FTO program, where we can do daily observation reports, where we can get real-time feedback on how recruits are doing in the field training program. We can also get feedback on how the trainers are doing in the program, which is something that we haven't historically had much data on. It's going to help us do a better training
This is
program.
new software,
This is new to us, yes.
and it actually should come to us even if it's split up because it's one program. But how does all of the software get consolidated for you guys?
So they're more, it's more like they're different modules and they're used for different things. Our DMS has more to do with the accreditation part of it. That's where our manuals go. That's where our exchange between different agencies as we move toward accreditation takes place. We can assign tasks in there and the accreditators can come in and look at those and make sure that we're meeting it. Our ready side is specific to field training.
So does this merge with coaxit or coaxel or whatever it is? Oh, Portico.
Portico?
Portico.
Portico is, my understanding, completely different. That's a mental wellness software.
Oh, not Portico, the one that has all the, Castell, yeah.
So these two do not, Power DMS and Power Ready, but Power Time, our scheduling software. I'm working with HR right now to, it's not so much as it integrates directly, but we can export a CVS file into Castell from Power Time. So they will integrate so that our payroll will come from our Power Time into Castell.
Okay, so when you talk manuals, is this mostly training manuals or is it?
This is our policy manual, and the jail standards manual is also in the DMS. These are more about policies and procedures for accreditation.
But, so this is a new place for that information.
We've had Power DMS for a while. It was paid for through OSSA, and I'm not sure what this fee is for. I'm speaking out because I'm the designee here, so
Yeah.
I wasn't part of that. I think it's because we have more employees than we did, and so we have to up our licensing, and I think that's what this is for, but don't quote me on that. Because, like I said, historically, OSSA has paid the bulk of that. And so I think this is just to pay for the additional licensing.
It's my understanding that the initial portion of that was for the field training officer monitoring the additional amount.
Yeah, so the $49.99 Power Ready is for what Robert's talking about. And then the rest of it, I can't speak definitively to.
Our DMS for 650 times 2.
So that's I think because we got the different divisions. I'd have to look at and find out more on that and get back to you. Is it licensing? Yeah, I think it's because we didn't have enough licenses because it's per employee and now we have to up the license.
So we need to stop giving you employees, is that what I'm hearing?
No. Yeah. I would concur with Captain.
Okay, did you second that, Dan?
I'll get together with those guys. Good.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Commissioners.
Which way are you going on this, Timmons?
Well, we don't know exactly what we're paying for.
Yeah, no,
Nobody knows, so no.
yeah.
Can I second it and say no?
Yeah,
Actually, you made the motion, you made the second.
Okay, yeah, no. Paid for.
but I don't care. Okay, I'll find out and get back.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries.
Yes, they did do that.
Yep. Number 12, county insurance.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm glad Lieutenant Roberts reminded us it was the afternoon, so. All right, before you is our insurance, actually, our workman's comp and our property liability. So first we have before you is the workman's comp insurance for $272,016. And that's to renew our workman's comp with SAFE insurance, and quotes there before you. It has gone up some since last year due to an increase in our overall payroll. No, yes, some on that, but also increased because of our mod and experience rating has changed.
From 0.67 to 0.77.
Yeah, from I think 0.7 to 8.87. I think that's what it is down there. It's kind of moving slowly. Yes. things on that. And also too, we will be paying that as soon as possible. Since we're doing it sooner this year, we have to pay it by the end of June, basically to receive a $9,000 discount to pay everything up front. And payables are due tomorrow, so we have plenty of time. We don't have to do a hand pay this year. We'll be okay and be able to receive this without a hand pay.
We're gonna need 3 separate motions, right?
Yes.
So any questions on the first one? It's safe.
Workman's comp insurance.
Yeah, I have one question real quick. What's terrorism premium?
I think it's just a, to be
Is
honest,
that part of cybersecurity or,
no, it has to with, you're seeing that on the workman's comp, are you?
let's say, yeah, under premium estimates?
I think it may be actually in case something happens to an employee due to terrorism. But I don't know the answer to that. Jennifer's online. I don't know if she knows the answer to that either. And I'm not sure if John Anderson was able to get in or not. We have insurance.
I do see a phone number ending 58. I don't know if that's John.
Due to the way everything was set out today, things get.
Jennifer's on there.
Yes, Commissioners, this is Jennifer Blake. I honestly don't. I think that Dan's answer was probably the best I could come up with as well. I've never, to be honest, I've never really even noticed that.
It has been there in the past.
Yeah, it's been there, but I just was curious what, I don't know if that's elective or required.
I think it's part of it, yes.
It's part of a package. Okay. I move. Did you already get a motion?
Not yet.
I move for approval of the safe workman's compensation package and with the early pay discount.
Yeah.
Aye.
Property liability insurance.
Thank you on that one, Commissioners. And yes, before you is our property liability insurance, which is for $996,176.23, which has gone up approximately 17% from last year. So there has been a dramatic increase, and that's not due to us. That's basically across the whole state. And
Jennifer's got her hand up. Put some in chat.
You put it down. I'm gonna mess with this mouse at the risk of.
okay, well, while you're checking that out, we did make one change proposed, and that's part of this too, is we recommended changing our deductible for property from 1,000 to 5,000, which actually saves us $19,800 by doing that. And that is what we're before you, is that with that premium, $996,000.
Question from the first one. So before we get back to that, let's finish item number 2.
I move for approval of the liability insurance, the property liability insurance at $958, $896.92.
And also, if we can have on that, raising the deductible from 1,000 to 5,000 property damage.
A increase in property damage premium for deductible of 5,000 in place of 1,000.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, back to item number 1. Jennifer answered
Thank
the
you.
question. Workers' comp is a compulsory line of insurance for all businesses that covers employees injured or killed on the job, including those injured or killed by acts of terrorism. So, thank you for looking that up, Jennifer. Number 3, cybersecurity coverage of payment of premium.
So thank you for approving the previous one, and Jennifer, thank you for clarifying that with terrorism coverage. Before you are 2 different options for cybersecurity. So we had to go through several, things to be able to increase our cyber terrorism. we had a lot of bullet points that we had to go through in order to do that. Those have been all accomplished. So now we qualify for these higher rates of $1 million for cyber terrorism. The property with our CIS insurance, we're looking at $1.25 million and an extra cost of about $32,000 for that. The issue that we have with that is they have a pool for all insurers of $5 million. So if there was, say, 5 people already have $1 million claims, that means there would be 0 in there, and then or 6 counties or cities. And then all of a sudden we were the 7th one, there would be no money left in the pool. So therefore, we would not get any money from them for a act of terrorism. But that would have to be, that $5 million would have to be exhausted, which has not been exhausted before with CIS. Wheatland suggested that we also put before you another insurer called Cowbell, who's been around since 1985, and insuring with them for $1 million with similar coverage for this, basically the same price, $32,000 for that. The result with this is if we had a claim, there's no pool there, so we would still get our amount that we're insured for. So we wouldn't have that issue. So before you is the 2 different ones. We continue with CIS property insurance for the cyber terrorism or cybersecurity insurance, where there's a pool of $5 million. And, you know, we've worked with these guys for, I don't know, 20, 30, we've been with CIS for many years, and we never had an issue with them. They're a great company to work with. Now, it's new. The coverage is the same amount, but we don't have to worry about that pool being exhausted.
Yeah, I'd like to stay with CIS, but I think under this circumstance, I think comparing the two, the only hesitation I would have is we don't have any kind of experience or interaction with Cowbell other than, but the savings are substantial. So I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to go ahead and move for the approval of the Cowbell quotation to move forward with our cybersecurity coverage.
I'm going to second that. Can I have a comment? Okay. And because they don't have a cap. And that, yeah, that was the seller for me. There was no cap. Second.
The only question I have is, how did they address new facilities? So anything that the county has a network or an IT, even if I'm at a hotel or say we have a new facility that we don't have wired, we're in the process of, do we have to identify for them a log or an inventory of IT work? Do we have to give them an inventory of where we could be compromised?
Well, it's basically, they base it on certain requirements. Do we meet those or not? So there are policies and procedures that we have in place. It's also based on PII, personal identifying information that we have. So that information doesn't really change as we add new things on, and our policies and procedures are supposed to cover it as we bring this up.
Okay, that's just my question. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. And I'm just gonna, as a CIS board member, I'm also going to say that I prefer to go with CIS, but with the fact that it's a first come, first serve on CIS, I think it'd be in our best interest to go with Cowbell. So, Doug, do I need to recuse myself on that vote?
Probably not, since you're not voting for them.
Okay. We have a motion, and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Nick.
13, elections payable.
Union Commissioner Steve Cragen, Elections Record Supervisor. Here's elections payable from the May 2024 primary elections for BMS. Company and Ben that are printing, inserting, and transportation to the United States Postal Service. The request is for $7,536.45.
I move for approval.
I second, but I just have one comment. How many of these did you get back?
Excuse me?
How many of these did you get back?
Voted, not voted.
Voted.
This is the ballot packet. The return, the out envelope, the return envelope, the ballot. I think right now we're 12,700 ballots that was voted and returned.
About 25%?
25.5, 26%. We're still getting ballots back. So we haven't seen the challenge issues.
Just in your spare time, did you run a calculator and see what the cost was per ballot?
Haven't gotten that far, but just on BMS and what they process, it was 15.1 cents per package or per piece is what we're getting charged for.
75% of that.
Yeah.
It's getting expensive.
It'd be nice if we had more.
We will run the cost for the election and know that.
Yeah, I just, if people, if constituents in Umatilla County complain to us about expenses and those type of things, one of my responses is you could sure drive down that average if you'd vote.
Well, yes, the cost would basically be the same,
But it'd be-
but what you're getting bang for buck, what you want
Yes, it would.
is your cost to equal your bang for buck.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to get to equal.
That 75% nexus or spread that really.
We'll be working on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I move to approve and sign the attached payable to BMS Technologies in the amount of $7,536.45.
Second, and thank you to the elections division for a great job.
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Maintenance payable number 14.
Before you, Commissioners, is payable for new DVR and some extra setup charges. Originally, the quote was for $4,976.84 to replace our failing DVR that's at the Stafford Hansel building, which I think Commissioner Dorn might attest to that the security officers had a lot of issues with. But in the meantime of doing that, that system failed again. We had to bring Unitech in, and that charge is on top of this, included in this invoice. And then we redid part of our network for more security and moved those cameras off, so we had to have their assistance as we changed everything around. So this extra, altogether $1,405 was added on to this invoice. So that is why it's over $5,000.
I'll make the motion for approval, but I do have a comment.
Got a motion and a second. You have a comment. I'm shocked.
What I would like to say is just in the last week, twice these have paid for themselves with the new camera placement to start with. But also the table on the new quality at the playback ability that because of car roamers and an individual that was actually after a hearing was kind of aggressive on the front of the building. So it is really made a difference.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Justice Center parking lot.
Oh, yes, I have one more, sorry.
Okay, where you going? I'm in a hurry, let's roll.
All right, so before you is to wash and seal, wash the cracks at the Justice Center area, their main parking lot there, and to then seal those cracks, and it's for 70,000. I don't have it in front of me now. But it's-
$7,200.
Yes, and we will be sealing here, those were already awarded earlier this year, the parking lot, this back parking lot and the parking lot over there. And the detox, or one of the parking lots on the hill over by the sheriff's. They're just waiting for the weather to change, and which it should be coming pretty close now.
Be too hot to do it here by Friday,
Never too hot for tar.
unless you have to drive on.
Anyway, so this is to do the parking lot at the jail.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the project and payment to Barry Snyder Asphalt Services in the amount of $7,300.
Motion second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Done now.
Okay, now I did talk to Tom Fellows. He is out of the area, unable to get in, so I asked him if you would be able to do it. He said, that's fine if you're up for it.
I have no problem at all.
All right, item 16, the culvert pipe purchase.
As you can see on the pinky, which is kind of nice to be able to see the way he puts together the pinkies with the quotes. It makes it a lot easier. But anyway, it's to replenish the culvert that is used throughout the county on roadways. Last year, it took quite a bit of the inventory. The replacement last year was much smaller. This year, it should bring it back up to what he feels comfortable with, even in case there's a weather event, he would feel comfortable. So I would move for approval of acquiring the culvert pipe inventory from Arrow Construction Supply, 22-242-31.
In a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Similar but guardrail stock.
Exactly the same, except that there has been a lot more damage on the guardrail this year. I did talk to Tom about trying to recoup that as much as possible through insurance claims from cars that hit it and stuff. They haven't done that a lot in the past just because of some of the complexities involved. But he did say that he was going to move forward with trying to be a little more diligent. So I would move for approval to purchase guardrail material from Coral Sales for $6,815.
I watched an OPB special on guardrails one time. This is way off out there. But you know what? So interesting. I mean, there's more to it than just. And so.
Got a motion, a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 18, rock purchase.
Okay, this is up on Lincoln Mountain right off of the county road. There's a rock pit up there owned by Tidewater. Although it's not under Tidewater. It has a stockpile of gravel currently and the ability to have future crushing there. There are several projects in that area. And so Tom actually worked for quite a while to get a really good deal on this gravel that is already on site for $30,000. I guess they don't call it Tidewater, it's Eagle Cap Rentals. Anyway, I would move for approval to purchase the rock on site from Eagle Cap Rentals for the purchase price of $30,000.
Motion, a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Look who's been waiting so patiently to get to emergency.
I saw her at 7:30 this morning.
Good afternoon. Kim Beck, Umatilla County Developmental Disabilities Program Manager. I am before you, this may sound familiar because the last time I was before you is about the same topic. So I did a little more in-depth work with Robert and Doug so I don't have to come back before you each time for purchase. So the first thing I'm here before you is to get authorization to pay $7,100 to Amazon Capital Services for the purchase of 400 power banks. A power bank in this case is a little $18 just bank that you can plug in your cell phone or tablet, and it charges it. Each person who is in our services in Umatilla County will get one of those under the American Rescue Plan Act Emergency Preparedness Program. Because Umatilla County has so many, we have currently we have like 365 people we work with. By March, it'll probably be over 400. We can't afford to get everyone something big because we only got $100,000 and we are investing that money in our foster care system for emergency preparedness. So that's the first.
Let's do it one at a time. So that's the first one. Any questions on item number 1?
Kim, why did you decide on these?
Because they're little and cute.
Oh,
No.
okay.
They are cute. They've got a little paw on the front that lights up. But we wanted to make sure that all of our families at least had the opportunity to stay connected during an emergency. To keep their cell phone, first of all, to keep their cell phones charged if possible. But also we have a large number of our individuals we work with have sensory issues. And so having tablets or phones and that kind of stuff to help soothe them during an emergency is really important until they can get to some place. So that was the thinking behind that.
Second, all fair the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2.
Okay, so this is so we are coordinating a program for 12 counties, 11 counties in Eastern Oregon, including Umatilla, and the Children's Intensive In-Home Services Program, which they work with 350 children who have intensive medical issues, who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, and or intense behavioral issues, along with developmental and intellectual disabilities. The state could not fund their own program, and CIIS is a state program. So since we were coordinating for other counties, they asked us to take that on. So we did. So each county, along with CIIS, is allotted a specific amount of money. Umatilla County had $100,000. CIIS has $300,000. It adds up to $850,000. So what I am tasked with is working with each county and CIIS to purchase whatever emergency preparedness supplies that they need. The contract for this money is very specific. It has to be generators or power stations or emergency supplies. And the emergency supply list is very specific to emergency kits, AEDs, flashlights, food buckets, those kind of things. So each county is doing the program a little differently. Like, we are the largest county out of the 12 counties. So ours looks really small. Each person's going to get something that's $18, and then we're going to work with foster care. Where in Malheur County, 130 some individuals are going to get a 300-watt Yeti power station that comes with a solar panel and a car charger. Because they were allotted $75,000. So that's basically what I'm here to ask for, is to be able to purchase these items up to, an amount. So generators and power stations up to the amount of 600,000, AEDs, 65,000, and the other emergency supplies up to 135,000.
Okay, administrative allocation out of that. That's good.
You're gonna take the 5.4, 5.5% off of everything.
Move to authorize payment to designated contracted entities not to exceed generators, power stations, 600,000, AEDs, 65,000, emergency supplies, 135,000.
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I'll get to ordering.
Thank you, Kim.
Fund creation.
Commissioners, Robert Paul, CFO. Recent legislation and our election with the SRS, or Secure Rural Schools Program. We have a separate fund for funding that was through the Secure Rural Schools Program. Put it into that fund and then to use it for road repairs in the county. We've already received that money and we need a fund to put it into and then transfer it to the road department.
Excellent.
What did we finally end up with? Here?
We got, for the road department, we got slightly over $400,000. It's SRS is a split, and part of it goes to the schools, county schools program.
That's just a tad over what we were thinking.
And then there'll be other components of that.
I move to approve.
Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we're going to pause once again our regular meeting and go into a public hearing for supplemental budgets.
Cindy over there warming up.
Commissioners, Robert Paul, CFO. I have some supplemental budgets for you to consider this morning. I will summarize them and answer any questions. Budget Order 2024-49 Infrastructure. The infrastructure program requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in transfers in of $2 million and an increase in contingency of $2 million. Budget Order 2024-50 Infrastructure Reserve requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in local revenue of $10 million, an increase in materials and services of $6 million, and an increase in contingency of $4 million. 2024-51 General Fund, General County requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in local revenue of $200,000, an increase in materials and services of $100,000, an increase in contingency of $100,000. Budget Order 2024-55 County Trails requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. Requires an increase in local revenue of $550,000, an increase in materials and services of $100,000, and an increase in contingency of $450,000. Budget Order 2024-56 Emergency Management. The Emergency Management Reserve Program requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in local revenue of $425,000 and an increase in materials and services of $425,000. And Budget Order 2024-57, Umatilla County Road District requires a supplemental budget to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in beginning cash of $405,000 and an increase in materials and services of $405,000.
Okay, any public comment in favor or opposition? At this time, we will close the public hearing and go back into our regular meeting. I'm going to entertain some motions.
I move to adopt order number 2024-49.
Second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. I move, sorry. I move to adopt order number BCC 2024-50.
Second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. I move to adopt order number BCC 2024-51.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
I move to adopt order number BCC 2024-55.
Motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Carries.
I move to adopt order number BCC 2024-56.
Motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to adopt order number BCC 2024-57.
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, and we have budget transfers.
Yes, Commissioners, there are four budget transfers to consider today. I'll summarize them for you. Budget Order 2024-48, Fleet Management. Requires a budget transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in capital outlay of $200,000 and a decrease in contingency of $200,000. Budget Order 2024-52, General Fund Board of Commissioners Program requires a budget transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $50,000 and a decrease in contingency of $50,000. 24-53, General Fund CIS Program requires a budget transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $50,000 and a decrease in contingency of $50,000. And finally, Budget Order 2024-58, the ODOT Reserve Program requires a budget transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in materials and services of $20,000 and a decrease in contingency of $20,000.
I'm on a roll now.
Okay.
Okay.
It's all yours. Brenda.
I move to adopt order number 2024-48.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to adopt budget 2024-52.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to adopt budget order 2024-53.
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move to adopt budget 2024-58.
Motion, second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Board grant payables, item number 23. It looks like these are going to be three separate motions as well. Is that correct, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, first one is approval of software annual board grants made payable to the Watershed Council, Umatilla Watershed Foundation in the amount of $10,000.
I would move for approval.
Got a motion, a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The second one is the Walla Walla Basin Watershed Council, the amount of $10,000. Motion is second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Last but not least is Umatilla County Soil and Water Conservation District in the amount of $10,000.
Approval.
Second, I have a question.
Okay.
On these amounts, are these just historically what we've given, or how are we coming up with these figures?
These amounts we've given to those three entities for a number of years. I'm not sure how far back, as far as I can remember, we've given them $10,000 a year to, I think, primarily help them leverage other grant funding. But the amounts have not changed in my recollection, Doug.
It's always been 10,000.
Second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Payment item number 24.
This is a pass-through to the Wolf Compensation Committee. And the extension, what it is we applied for, commissioners applied for Western.
Star?
We just got a grant funding.
We got grant funding and it's passed through to purchase non-lethal items. And in this case, it's for GIS tracking ear tags for cattle in the wolf prevention program. So I would move for approval of payment of $18,730.
Motion is second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries. UBC grant support letter.
Umatilla Electric's in the process of applying for a cybersecurity grant to help them protect not just their infrastructure, which includes companion infrastructure with EPA and other suppliers. But it's they have fairly substantial with the new power they have coming on and the new transmission. They're applying for a grant to support their upgraded cybersecurity. No expense to us, just to support.
Motion?
It is. So
Motion is second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
one thing on that, they have to have that in fairly shortly. I think it's by the end of the week, but
It's just got signed.
perfect.
Oh my gosh, this is every record. We suspend our regular meeting once again for another public hearing of this fee ordinance amendment.
I thought those weren't the last.
This is the annual review for departments to present to the Board of Commissioners changes to the comprehensive fee ordinance. And a few of the departments took up the offer and have proposed some changes. First off, assessment and taxation have requested changes that would include increasing their research office staff time to more reflect their actual costs due to increases in wages. And then also to make it standard for each of their divisions for it's $50 an hour. And that's administrative services. Assessment and taxation also increasing their research time from $75 to $100, also to reflect the current cost. And also want to delete a lot of the fees that are no longer applicable. And also increasing the review fees for GIS time for fee checks and land divisions. Harris Park is proposing to increase the nightly fee for a cabin from $40 to $45 to reflect additional costs for cleaning, and also reducing fees for shelter. Public Health Department for the on-site wastewater treatment system program proposed a 4% increase in all of their fees And also need to reflect that the DEQ surcharge fee is going from $100 to $117. And Public Works has just some minor wording changes to theirs. And then the Planning Department wants to increase the fees for comprehensive plan tax amendments as well as aggregate site applications.
This is our first reading, correct?
That is correct.
So, any public comment for or against? Seeing none, we'll close the hearing, go back to our regular scheduled meeting again, and set a date for the second reading.
It'd be requested to set the second reading for July 3rd.
Motion is second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that,
Ready for your text amendment?
did we already do that?
No, you just got like,
Text amendment. I did that. I'm real, wait a minute. No, with that, we are adjourned. My
Made me
goodness.
go back and look.
I was like,